So with the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, there's been a lot of excitement around the platform, both for that new Mario Kart game, the form factor, all the rumors out there for all the third-party support coming, and obviously just some general quality of life improvements. Like a lot of people really excited about the way the Joy-Con rails work and how you attach the controllers. A little concerned that there is a weak point in there, but I think that concern will be alleviated fairly quickly once the device is out, just based on what I know about how, hey, those connection points and motherboards are actually manufactured. That being said, what I want to focus on today is, well, there is a ton of excitement, and this channel, man, I'm so excited for Switch 2. It's so hard to contain the hype. That is not the reaction of everyone on the internet. There is actually a number of people disappointed, be it just fans in general, or be it these various media outlets that are spreading a very, very similar message of disappointment. And this comes from the fact, and look, we all saw this coming based on the leaks, that this is an iterative platform. This isn't some big, innovative, new idea from Nintendo, which has become, well, kind of known for doing such things since the Wii era. Now, some people will say, well, this goes much further back when they first put control sticks on and shoulder buttons. And yeah, I understand that, but that all felt like natural evolutions that ultimately got us to today's modern controller that everyone uses basically the same layout. That felt like a natural evolution. Whereas obviously what Nintendo did from Wii and then with DS and even 3DS with the Glass 3 3D and the Wii U gamepad and even the Switch, all of that was under the direction of Satoru Iwata, the late president of Nintendo of America. And look, that is an era that is behind us. That is not an era that is here anymore. And because that era is gone, there's some disappointment. You don't have to take my word for it. We'll dive into those articles in a moment. And I'll talk about why I think they're all a little bit misplaced and why it's okay to feel disappointed, but that doesn't mean you're ultimately about to have a terrible generation. Before we dive in, I want to remind you, we're on the road to 140,000 subscribers. I would appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel, and let's go ahead and look at some of the stuff. So first, we got Eurogamer. This article even got community noted because it has some weird complaints in it. It says, if Switch 2 is the end of innovation, Nintendo, there's so much to be sad about. And in this article, they actually go on to describe like the leaks being a huge reason that this was extremely disappointing. Meanwhile, Eurogamer was literally posting these leaks themselves and covering them. Kind of weird to complain that the leaks ruined everything when you also were the ones perpetuating and covering them, right? Again, this would be like me complaining about the reveal because, oh my gosh, it's exactly like everything that leaked, and ergo, it's a shitty reveal. Meanwhile, I'm perpetuating and posting those leaks, right? Like, you can't talk on both sides of your mouth. At least I don't think you should. Then we go over here to Nintendo Life, now owned by IGN. And it says, talking point, did all the Switch 2 leaks damage Nintendo or the console's reveal? Again, kind of going after the leaks. Oh, we're not done, though. Nintendo shares take a hit after the Switch 2 reveal. Now, I will note, I think the shares took a hit not because people were disappointed in the reveal, but because with an April 2nd direct coming up, and then you combine that with events to play the system in April and May, it's not expected the system's going to come out till June. I think that 7% fall that we saw was really just an overcorrection of the market because heading into the day, the market was already spiking up. So there was a correction, but then also, the system's not coming out for a while. So for investors, there's not any money to be made on Switch 2 for like another 5 months. So yeah, I think that is probably why. But hey, it's still being covered like this. And some articles are even saying it's the fans' fault. Fan reaction is why it fell. It's really weird. Screen Rant over here says, after watching Nintendo's reveal, I'm convinced the Switch 2 is a death sentence for handheld consoles. Now handheld consoles are completely dead. Now, I actually read the article, and the greater context is a handheld portable. But even those, I wouldn't say they're dead. They're alive and well. There's tons of them out there. So, okay, cool. Next article. I'm afraid the Switch 2 design lacks Nintendo's special sauce. All right, from Gizmodo. Okay. Nintendo Switch 2's reveal undid 9 years of excitement in under 3 minutes. Yep, 9 years of excitement. Leaks killed it. Didn't reveal much. One was better. This thing sucks. Heard it here. Switch 2 is horrible. Next. Games Radar. Nintendo Switch 2 leaks essentially ruined the reveal. Okay, next. Games Inbox. Was the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement a disappointment? That's from Metro UK. Oh, Takahashi Machizuki. New, Nintendo is taking PlayStation's approach in making Switch 2, which disappointed some who had expected a sense of wonder to the company. My interest on the next gen is what comes after Switch 2. Will it be Switch 3? X-Pirate Nation just out here spreading misinformation. Metroid Prime 4 confirmed to release on the original Switch. That is correct. Pokemon ZA confirmed to release on the original Switch. That is correct. Mario Kart 9 looks like a game the Switch 1 could easily run at 60 FPS. That is an opinion. Switch 1 featured prominently in Switch 2's reveal trailer. You mean the first, couple seconds. All right. No significant change in form factor for the first time in a mainline console announcement. What the are you talking about? No, seriously. What? No significant change in form factor? NES, SNES, N64, GameCube. All of them were just consoles you plugged into your TV and played with a controller. That's not like significant form factor changes. Game Boy Advance, you're still holding on to it. You're still holding on. What are we talking? DS, 3DS. What are we doing? This is such factual and accurate. All right, let's go back to the post. I can't just dwell on this. This video will end up being an hour long if I dwell on all these little minute things. No new Switch 2 exclusive titles have been announced several days after the console's announcement. Again, this works under the presumption that Mario Kart 9 is not an exclusive game, and it might not even be called Mario Kart 9, but whatever the new Mario Kart game is, that it's not an exclusive. It's arguable they showed an exclusive right then. I don't really know, and several days after Nintendo told you when we're getting the news. They're doing a direct on April 2nd, okay? That's when we're going to get the new stuff. This is just frustrating. Next up, Anthony LeBlanc. The Switch 2 doesn't even have a strong enough CPU to run Elden Ring. And so many others. We can go on and on with this. I could bring up dozens, if not hundreds of examples of all this negativity surrounding the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I do think the negativity is massively being outweighed by the positivity, right? I think we all know that the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal has mostly been positive for Nintendo. Hundreds of millions of views. I've seen it with the engagement on my videos. I've seen it with the engagement on places like X and Blue Sky and all these other platforms that the engagement seems to be largely extremely positive and just a lot of excitement for possibilities, like what the Zelda team's going to do, how Monolith Soft is going to cook, all the third parties coming over, PH Brazil expressing that they must be pretty happy with the power because all of them seemingly want to make Switch 2 part of their primary game release platforms. So that's really awesome. Everything seems to be lining up where Nintendo Switch 2 is pretty great. I feel like what happened is Satoru Iwata, the late president of Nintendo, changed a lot of Nintendo's philosophies from GameCube on forward into being this company that strives for innovation. And in striving for innovation, regardless of if they were the first ones to do something or not, it led to this expectation that this is what Nintendo always was, and this is what Nintendo will always be. Now, Nintendo's a for-profit company, and people forget the entire reason they made such an about-face turn after GameCube to do the Wii thing was because they didn't feel they could compete anymore head-to-head with PlayStation and Xbox. They thought a third system basically doing the same thing was a fruitless effort. There was no ground for Nintendo to gain continuing to go down that chasing power path. And so they fundamentally changed things by changing to motion controls. Then they tried the whole gamepad thing, which didn't work out for them. And home console-wise, now we're going all the way over to Nintendo Switch. And the thing is unlike the GameCube days when Nintendo decided, hey, we got to change directions, they're on top of the world. I don't know if consumers forget this, but this is not the same sort of position Nintendo was in when they decided to do the DS or when they decided to do the Wii. Nintendo is on the cusp of being the best-selling system of all time with Nintendo Switch. Definitely, likely going to be at least the second best. Will it ever pass PS2? Officially, we don't know, but it's going to be in the 150s. It's going to probably pass DS, and yes, it's going to end up being at least the second best-selling platform ever. Nintendo's on top of the world. They have significantly more sales than PlayStation 5, significantly more sales than Xbox Series. Why would Nintendo throw all that success away to fundamentally innovate and change everything, especially when the Switch continues to sell well and the games are continuing to sell like blockbusters. So the demand is still there for what Nintendo's doing, so why would they run away from it? Why would Nintendo throw away the king of the mountain for the sake of innovation? They never were doing innovation for the sake of innovation's sake. They were doing innovative things because they were chasing. They were trying to find a consistent path to success, just like any business, and they seem to have found that with Switch. Hell, there's even reports out there now that Switch 2 released that Steam Deck sales have started to tank. Switch 2 is not even out yet. You can't even buy it. We don't even know when you can pre-order it. We don't know even what it's going to cost. And already Steam Deck sales are being negatively impacted just by it being officially announced. So look, Nintendo is kind of in their own market right now, and they're dominating that market. They're not going to rock the boat and stop the domination. Now, even saying that, it does look like Nintendo, hey, they didn't just sit there and do nothing. Outside of all the quality of life improvements and the much better magnetic rail system and everything they're working with, they added mouse functionality seemingly native to the system. I know that doesn't feel as innovative because, hey, we've been using mice for like decades and decades in video games. So the thing is, it doesn't feel that innovative. And yes, you can use a mouse and keyboard with your Switch and with your PlayStation and with your Xbox, but because it's not the base control that's included with the platform, a lot of games don't natively support it. And Nintendo having it included where everyone has mouse functionality built into their system, they have, two of them, yeah, that means it's going to get used a lot more often, which means people that want to use external mice or keyboards probably have much better support on Nintendo Switch 2. And I get it. That's not an innovation, but what it is taking something that's common and bringing it into the console space in a much more user-friendly way. And I think that is brilliant. I think that's fundamental. It's logical. For once, the gimmick of Nintendo Switch 2, the gimmick of what else you could do with the controls is practical. It's a practical gimmick. It doesn't get rid of traditional controls. It just gives you another type of traditional control that consoles usually don't champion. So I'm really happy, honestly, with what Nintendo did with this. This feels like a console made for gamers. And I feel like maybe that's what's throwing everyone off with Switch 2, is this idea that Nintendo is no longer trying to be this, we're trying to target like your little Timmies and Sarah's, like your tiny little kids, or going after the giant soccer mom. Like they're targeting gamers. They've been doing it since Switch came out. Switch was very, very much targeted at gamers, and they're doing it again because the only people that are going to truly care about that mouse functionality are like actual gamers that would want to use it, right? So Nintendo they've kind of hit on this thing where like, hey, no, we're not giving you the most powerful piece of tech out there. Absolutely not. But we're going to give you something that's powerful enough to play the games well enough, while also giving you that additional functionality anytime you want it and or need it. And we'll probably have some games and software as well as some third parties built around it. I'm all for this, man. This is, to me, Nintendo not resting on their laurels. I think a lot of people think they're just resting because, oh my gosh, it's a similar form factor. Well, look, they weren't going to go away from the hybrid system. There's only so many ways you could put a screen with controllers on it. Can we be honest here? Why make it look drastically different? There's only so many ways to put controllers attached to a screen. I'm not really upset about that. But Nintendo going ahead and adding that mouse functionality, I think is a much bigger deal than people think. Obviously, we still don't know what the C button does, if anything. And yes, we need to see operating system overhauls. We need to see, eShop overhauls, account overhauls, all this stuff. Extra features added in for NSO, voice chat messaging. We need to see a lot of stuff. And that could all be revealed on April 2nd. But I'm just throwing out there that the negativity, I think, goes too far. I think people expecting Nintendo to just innovate for innovation's sake are not understanding or able to read the room. Nintendo's on top. This is not a Nintendo that's chasing anymore. They ain't chasing anyone. So let them cook. Just let Nintendo cook. I think we're about to have another amazing generation ahead of us. All right, guys. I'm Nathan Robojets from Nintendo Prime. Let me know what you think about this all down in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.